The buzz of a leaf blower at dawn isn't the usual wake-up call on a ranch, but in June 2023, it jolted me out of bed in Sagebrush Hollow, a rural pocket of Montana where my family's land butts up against a new HOA subdivision. What sent my pulse racing wasn't the noise, it was the sight of Helen Warwick, the HOA president, in sweatpants and aviators, brandishing the blower like a sword at my 1,200-pound Angus bull, dozing in the morning sun. The bull, unbothered, flicked an ear as she blasted air at him, shouting about livestock violations and community wellness. I dropped the hay bale I was hauling, stunned. "Helen, have you lost your damn mind?" I yelled over the roar. She spun, her face a mix of fury and triumph, and declared my bull a health hazard. My bull snorted, rolled over, and let out a lazy fart, utterly unimpressed. Me? I realized this wasn't just absurd, it was war. Drop a comment with where you're reading from. This tale of a rancher facing a tyrant's madness will hook you tight. Sagebrush Hollow was my family's legacy, a century-old ranch with a legal grazing easement predating the HOA's cookie-cutter homes. The easement, etched in county records since my great-grandfather's day, let my cattle roam a shared strip of land for spring grazing. It never caused a stir until the HOA arrived, with its white fences and rules about approved mailbox fonts. That week, the grass had greened up, and I'd let 25 head of cattle, mostly Angus, into the eastern pasture. Everything was fine until my neighbor, Sam, called, chuckling but tense. "You've got a posse with clipboards by your fence." I walked over to find Helen and 4 HOA members in matching vests, snapping photos and scribbling like they'd spotted a crime scene. Helen, poking the dirt with her sandal, glared at me. "Your cows are trespassing," she snapped, calling the easement a community serenity zone for yoga and herb gardens. I laughed, thinking it was a joke. It wasn't. I showed her the easement papers. Her eyes narrowed. "This is private property now. Cows don't belong in civilized spaces." I asked if she thought ranches were uncivilized. "Visual pollution," she sneered. That evening, flyers appeared on my gate and truck showing a cartoon cow with a red X, signed by Helen, Community Harmony Director. My wife, Clara, snorted with laughter, but I saw the storm coming. 2 days later, I returned from town to find a 10-foot steel fence blocking my pasture's main gate, complete with motion-activated sprinklers and a sign, HOA Green Space. No livestock. My cattle milled, confused, one calf tangled in netting until I cut it free. I called the sheriff. He shrugged, saying it was a civil matter. Helen watched from her deck, sipping wine, raising her glass in a mocking toast. The next morning, my water line to the troughs was capped, redirected to HOA sprinklers. 2 calves showed heat stress. I hauled water by hand, cursing. The vet came, the county stalled, and Helen pranced like she'd won. Then I caught 2 HOA workers driving stakes into my land, claiming they were enhancing the boundary. They had no permit, just Helen's word. A local teen, Mia, slipped me a video, Helen directing the workers at dusk, saying, "Do it quick before he notices. He's too old school for drones." That was it. I didn't sleep, poring over easement deeds, drone photos, and vet bills at my kitchen table. My niece, Sarah, a law student home for summer, walked in. "Suing?" she asked. I nodded. "Good," she said, grabbing her laptop. "I'll draft it." I didn't want Wary wanted my herd to graze in peace. But Helen had picked a fight with the wrong rancher, thinking I'd fold. She didn't know the land, the law, or the legacy she was challenging. By dawn, I had a fortress of evidence. Maps, videos, receipts. Helen wanted a cow-free lawn. She was getting a courtroom stampede. The vandalism escalated. My mailbox was torn off, farm out scrawled in red paint on my gate. I replaced the mailbox, added a trail cam, and documented everything. Sarah found a state law on agricultural interference, holding violators liable for disrupting protected farming, like my easement. Helen's fence, water cut, and harassment were a legal trifecta. She was building a case against herself, filing complaints about my dangerous cattle near community spaces. Animal control delivered a warning, but the officer, skeptical, whispered, "This is BS." I held a town hall, showing the easement, drone footage, and vet bills. Neighbors clapped. Some, former HOA victims, offered support. Helen countered with an HOA meeting, sanitation crisis, passing out flyers with cows in hazmat suits. A neighbor, Ellen, left manure on Helen's porch, not me, but I wasn't mad. The stakes were real. Losing the easement could cripple my ranch. Spring grazing was vital for soil health and my herd cycle. Sarah filed our suit, Carter vs. Willow Creek HOA, charging interference, trespass, and damages. The HOA's response claimed I was industrializing suburbia. Sarah laughed. I didn't. Then a bombshell. The state agriculture office confirmed our ranch as an emergency food supplier, tying our cattle to disaster relief. Helen hadn't just blocked my couch, tampered with a protected supply chain. We added this to the suit, and the HOA board panicked. One member quit. Another, anonymously, offered to testify Helen acted alone. She doubled down, posting online that I was exploiting state protections and endangering kids with sick cows. A radio host laughed off her interview, saying, "Sounds like a bad Western." In court, Sarah laid out our case. Easement records, drone footage, vet bills, and the state's letter. The HOA's lawyer painted me as a backward rancher, but the judge, a no-nonsense woman, wasn't buying it. We showed Helen's workers on my land. Her voice on video. Stop the barnyard filth. A retired surveyor confirmed the fence was 10 feet onto my property. A state agent testified our cattle were critical for food security. Helen took the stand, ranting about cow stairs and manure ruining her roses, admitting she built the fence to teach a lesson. The courtroom stifled laughs. The judge ruled for us. Remove the fence, restore water, pay damages, and issue an apology. An injunction protected the easement forever. Helen's face drained. Her lawyer looked defeated. That night, we grilled steaks, the herd grazing freely. The HOA's insurance wouldn't cover damages deemed willful. Dues soared, residents revolted, and a petition ousted Helen. Properties hit the market. I bought 2 near the easement through an LL Cone for ranch hands, one for Sarah's legal office helping HOA victims. At the next HOA meeting, I walked in as a new member, proposing elections. Sarah ran, promising transparency. Helen's meltdown, calling me a cow conspirator, went viral. She lost in a landslide. An audit revealed she'd funneled HOA funds for her fence and sprinklers. She faced fines and a county ban from leadership. Neighbors dismantled the fence, built a picnic pavilion, and started a farmer's market. Kids fed my calves. Ellen took a selfie with my bull, dubbed Sir Munch. Months later, Helen lingered, her lawn unkempt. She reported my cows mooing. The sheriff laughed. At our market, she bought beef, avoiding my eyes, and muttered, "You won." I said, "The land did." Sagebrush Hollow bloomed rules, more community. Sarah launched a youth ranch program. Helen's grandson joined, learning to mend fences. Did I go too far, turning Helen into a pariah? Was she a villain or a product of her own control? Drop, yes, if you'd have fought like me. No, if you'd have backed off. Have you faced a Helen, wielding petty power? Did you stand or yield? Share your story, what happened when a bully fenced you in. Hit like if this stirred you. And subscribe for more tales of defiance. Let's keep the land free, one graze at a time.